Oh my! Are y'all ready for the rest of the X-Men's adventure against the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants? Well, I am, and look, Professor X is on hand too. He wants to hear how the story ends, even though with his great mind, he already knows, doesn't he? Well, let's review. The X-Men, these teenage powerful mutants, are up against a new powerful mutant team called the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and they're led by Magneto. All right, here's a picture of the team, and of course, we all remember Magneto from the very first X-Men adventure with his powers of magnetism. Well, this is the Toad who has powerful legs and can jump really high. He is very obedient to Magneto and often acts like a tattletale. Up here is Mastermind, and we're going to see how powerful he can be today as he projects hallucinations and illusions on his opponents. Up here is Quicksilver, whose real name is Pietro, and he is speedy. He's a speedster, and his great speed gives him great power as well. So Pietro's sister is Wanda, and Wanda is known as the Scarlet Witch, and she has what they call hex power. She can make things happen that are improbable, but usually turn out to be disastrous to her opponents. Lucy, did you notice this is the first female superpowered villainess that has appeared in any of our stories? And so it's interesting to see two women in our stories, Scarlet Witch and also Marvel Girl. All right, well, let's get on with the story. When we left our friends, the X-Men, their leader, Professor X, had just had a confrontation with Magneto, the leader of the Brotherhood, and he is telling his team that the moment he's dreaded is at hand. He says Magneto is preparing his all-out offensive against mankind. We must ensure that he never succeeds. Well, what are they up to? Meanwhile, off the coast of Santa Marco, the evil mutants finish their shelling of the tiny republic, firing into the hills behind the city to show their power. Remember, Magneto stole this battleship from the United States Navy. Magneto says, Santa Marco will be mine before nightfall. They have no force to oppose us. And here comes Hopping Toad. He says, nothing can stop you, Magneto. You were born to rule. At first, the proud people of Santa Marco prepare to offer staunch resistance until they see. One woman says, look, marching through the streets. Another one says, it is not possible. A man says, we cannot fight them. We must surrender. What is it that they see? Look, they see a marching army with the letters M, probably for Magneto or maybe for mutants, but the people say, run for your lives. It is an entire enemy army. Another fellow says, we are lost. They appeared as though by magic. Well, it's not by magic. It's by the power of Mastermind. Toad is hopping up and down with glee. He says, hee hee hee. They do not dream that the army is just an illusion. Magneto says, well done, Mastermind. Continue the illusion until I have the entire Republic under my control. Scarlet Witch says, it's incredible. If I didn't know better, I too would swear I'm gazing at a real flesh and blood army. Scarlet Witch goes on, but is it necessary to plant such fear in the hearts of the people, Magneto? Magneto says, of course, humans are like sheep. they respond to certain stimuli, and fear is one of the most powerful. Within a short time, Magneto seizes the reins of government and loses no time in forming a real army, modeled after the imaginary one created by Mastermind. The people say, "We must get off the street. It is nearly curfew time." At the borders of the once free little nation, they're closed, and all roads leading in and out of the captive state are heavily patrolled. The soldier says, "Halt! In the name of Magneto, show your identification." The soldier says, "An American professor and some students on a goodwill visit from America." The soldier then thinks, "We have orders to admit such visitors." The leader feels they can be fooled into thinking he is a kind and beloved ruler. "You may pass." While within the presidential building, which Magneto has converted into an imperial palace, we see Magneto on his throne. And look, here's a prisoner held by two soldiers. Magneto said, "He dared try to arouse the people against me. Take him to the dungeon." So he's acting like a very cruel despot. Mastermind says, "I like the brand of justice you hand out, Magneto. It'll show Homo sapiens that we are their rightful masters." Magneto says, "Silence. They're here. The X-Men. I can sense it. The mental emanations of their leader are so strong that I feel them in my brain." And then Magneto says, "See to it that Quicksilver, the Scarlet Witch, and the Toad are prepared. We'll let the X-Men come to us like flies entering a spider's trap." A short distance away, Warren says, "Is it time for us to get into uniform now, sir?" Professor X says, "Yes, there is no need for further delay. Magneto must have detected our presence by now." "But I detect other mutants as well as Magneto. Our mission is more dangerous than I feared." And so here they are, Professor X and the 5 X-Men up against the 5 Brotherhood of the evil mutants. So, taking pencil in hand, the gifted leader of the uncanny X-Men prepares their battle plan. So he draws it out and he says, "This is how Magneto will be attacked. You will each approach his headquarters in a different way." Then he says, "Hank, you'll be the first." And of course, Hank is the Beast. And so he takes off his outer clothes, and there he is, dressed already in his X-Men costume. And he says, "Forgive my overzealousness, group, if I don't linger over a long goodbye." The soldiers say, "It is a waste of time guarding Magneto. Who would dare attack the leader?" Well, the Beast would dare, and look, there he is. He's approaching the wall. And he climbs up with just his toes. The other soldier says, "You are right. All others tremble at the sound of the leader's name." Then a soldier says, "Strange how he took over our entire government so suddenly without firing a shot." The other soldier says, "Listen, did you hear something?" Well, yes, they heard the Beast, and he jumps in on them and knocks them over with his big feet. He says, "Forgive the intrusion, gents. I'm just an incurable party crasher." Well, that's not much of a party, but he's crashing it. But Magneto has already alerted his own loyal mutants, and before the Beast can recover his balance, the high-jumping Toad strikes. Look, Toad jumps and knocks the Beast over. Beast says, "What?" Toad says, "Ha, I have struck the first blow. How proud the leader will be." But the Beast's powerful fingers slam against the side of the stone rampart. But he thinks, "Better hang on here, Henry, old boy. It's a long way to the bottom." So The toad knocked over the beast, all right, but the beast is hanging on to the side of the wall. He says, "Don't go away, little friend. I'll climb back up and we can get to know each other better." The toad is still bouncing around, but he says, "The beast is too strong. I'll bounce these rocks down at him to stop him from reaching the top." But then the mastermind says, "Don't bother, Toad. The mastermind will show you how to handle him." Suddenly, the crevices which the beast has dug out in the moldy stone walls seem to vanish, to be replaced by a smooth, glassy area which permits no possible grip. Well, even though it's an illusion, the beast feels like he can't hold on, and so he's so shocked that the heavy-limbed X-Man loses his balance and begins to plunge helplessly downward. Look at him sliding down. And at the top, the mastermind says, "You see, Toad, there are times when a clever illusion can be more effective than mere brute strength." The toad says, "He thought the walls had turned to glass, the fool." Then, at the other side of the castle, the sound of gunfire is heard as the next X-Man attacks. And look at who it is. It's the Angel flying around above his opponents. And they're shooting bullets at him, but he's too fast. He says, "You fellas sure have a funny way of making a guy feel at home." And then he says, "Boy, I'd like to be the one who sells them their bullets. I'd get rich overnight, because they have so many bullets they're firing at him, but none of them hit him." He says, "I can outmaneuver their clumsy shooting, but the noise is getting on my sensitive nerves, so I'll just put a stop to it like this." And the soldiers realize, look out, he dropped that high-tension wire toward our metal guns, and ow! They all turn their electric, and so one says, "Drop your gun or you'll be electrocuted." Zap, zap, zap. And then he flies around some more and says, "Can't waste any more time out there. Oh, Magneto, where are you?" He's acting silly, but here comes someone who's even faster than the Angel, and it's Quicksilver. He says, "You are fast, winged one, but not as fast as Quicksilver." Angel says, "Holy smoke, where did you come from?" The Angel says, "The professor was right. There are other mutants." And Quicksilver dodges around while the Angel tries to hit him, but there's no way. Quicksilver moves too fast. He says, "That's it. Wear yourself out." Angel says, "Okay, I'm convinced. You're a lot faster than me, but speed isn't the only thing that counts." Quicksilver says, "No, show me something better." And he says, "Maneuverability for one thing. Too bad you couldn't avoid that hitting that wall, Speedy." And so the Angel maneuvers so fast that Quicksilver just runs into the wall. Wham! He says, "Ugh." Angel bends over and says, "He's knocked out. Lucky for me, he was a little too fast for comfort." But look, here comes his sister, the Scarlet Witch. She says, "Quicksilver, oh no, no, if he's harmed." Angel says, "Say, what do you think he was trying to do to me, lady?" As if she cares. And then he thinks, wow, what a dish. If she's an evil mutant, I want an application blank. Silly Angel. But the Scarlet Witch just points and uses her hex power. She says, "Magneto was right. You X-Men would destroy us if you could. Well, your wings cannot save you from the hex of the Scarlet Witch." And look, we have rubble that's falling down on the Angel. He thinks, wow, she just points her finger and the ceiling caves in. Ugh. By the time the Angel recovers from the falling mortar, he finds that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are standing over him. Scarlet Witch says, "No need to worry, Pietro. I stopped the one called Angel." Quicksilver says, "And not a second too soon. Oh, my head." A soldier says, "Quick, send for the leader. This one will trouble us no more." And minutes later, Magneto says, "Ah, you got the one with wings. Good, good. We'll get them one at a time until the X-Men are no more." And see, here's, I think, a flaw in Professor X's plan, because he sent the X-Men one at a time from different directions. Let's see who comes next. Well, here comes Cyclops. Suddenly, Magneto says, "A powerful energy beam sweeping the chamber. Duck, you fools. Cyclops is attacking." Yes, indeed, his power beam knocks down the wall. And look, his power beam is rolling these soldiers away. Quicksilver says, "It's unbelievable. He's rolling those two powerful guards away merely by training his power beam on them." Scarlet Witch says, "He must be stopped." Magneto says, "Quicksilver, attack now." Then, as Cyclops begins to scan his room with his awesome beam, Cyclops realizes Magneto ducked under it. I've got to move faster. Well, speaking of moving faster, here comes Quicksilver. And he says, "No X-Man can move faster than a mutant whose own superhuman power is speed itself." Magneto says, "Careful, his beam is sweeping the ceiling. Our generator is above us." And sure enough, his power beam goes through the ceiling, and before anyone can move, Cyclops' out of control high intensity blast strikes the ultra powerful electric generator, tearing it from its moorings. And 1,000,000 volts of deadly current run wild through the castle, menacing all within. Scarlet Witch says, "Run! If the current hits us, we're doomed." And so Magneto and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, as well as the soldiers, run away from this mighty electric blast. Cyclops says, "No time to untie you, Angel. We'll be fried in another few seconds. Shut your eyes fast. I'm going to try a desperate gamble. What is it that Cyclops is going to do?" Well, don't shut your eyes. Let's watch. Here comes his mighty, powerful eye beam. He says, "I've got to use my force beam right through the wall to get at that generator and stop it somehow. If this doesn't work, it's curtains for us," meaning they're going to bring the curtain down on this show. Wham! Look, his eye beam knocks the generator outside the castle wall. Angel says, "Cyclops, you did it. You blasted the generator clean through the wall." Holy smoke, he collapsed from the strain. Now we're both helpless. I'm tied up and he's unconscious. That's the problem sometimes with powers like eye beams and mental powers and even flame or ice. When you get tired, your powers are diminished. But directly outside the castle, there's the Iceman, but he's right underneath that generator. He says, "Uh-oh, if that contraption falls on me, it'll be goodbye, Iceman." Luckily, I practiced creating a quick freeze ice cube slide when I was clowning with the Beast back at school. Didn't think it would save my life so soon, though. Look, he defends himself with a shield that's a slide. And so the generator just slides away. Iceman says the others must still be trapped above. I'd better make a frozen ladder for myself and see if I can help. So he's climbing up the wall using spikes of ice as a ladder. Minutes later, after untying the angel said, "That's it, Bobby boy. The ice is reviving him." So he's using ice to wake up Cyclops. Iceman says, he's coming too now. Man, he must use some blast to send that generator clean through the wall. Angel flies down the tunnel. He says, okay, now let's find the others, and especially that rat Magneto. Iceman says, maybe you better take it easy for a while, Cyclops. Cyclops says, don't worry about me, Iceman. Save your concern for Quicksilver. He's going to need it when I catch him. How's he going to catch someone who moves so fast? Suddenly, a wall plaque and the weapons beneath it begin to quiver strangely. These metal objects. Who's controlling them? That's right. Cyclops says, look out, you guys. Look what's going on. These metal objects are flying through the air. Of course, they're powered by Magneto. Cyclops says, duck, Bobby. We're in the line of fire. Iceman says, I hear you talking, pal. And the Angel says, weapons flying through the air at us. If I didn't know better, I'd suspect Marvel Girl. Well, Marvel Girl's not the only one who can move objects at will. Well, I've been wrong all this time. It's actually Marvel Girl that's moving those objects. All right, but by mistake. So here come the Beast and Marvel Girl around the corner. Beast says, lucky for me you saw me falling and lowered me to the ground through telekinesis, little friend. But what are you doing now? Marvel Girl says, oh my goodness, I thought it was Magneto's men coming after us. Well, that could be a very dangerous mistake, right? Led me to make a mistake too. All right, Marvel Girl says, I'm sorry, boys. I didn't realize. Angel says, okay, gorgeous. No harm done. Say, where's the professor? Cyclops says, last I saw, he was outside the castle. Don't worry, he can take care of himself. Beast says, perhaps he can, Scott, but I'm beginning to have doubts about our ability in that department. Beast says, so far we've used up a lot of time and energy, and we've accomplished nothing. Cyclops says, Hank's right. We don't even know where Magneto ran off to. Iceman says, hey, save the philosophy for later. We're in the soup again. Look what's coming. It's a river of boiling oil rushing right towards us. I hate to sound like a worrywart, but let's get out of here. Where could all that flame be coming from? Let's find out. Iceman says, if that hot stuff gets any closer to me, I'm going to be an iceless Iceman. The Beast says, it's coming too fast. We can't outrun it. And look, there's a stone wall up ahead. What are they going to do? The Angel is flying. Cyclops is carrying Marvel Girl. Iceman and Beast are running away, but here comes the flame. Cyclops says, I can't use my energy ray yet. I haven't fully regained my strength. We're trapped. Beast says, we can't end up like this. We've got to think of something, but what? The flames have stopped coming closer. We're safe for now, but we're locked in. Can't get out. Can't break free. What are they going to do? Well, look. Suddenly, astonishingly, right in the midst of the deadly flames, they see it's Professor X. He's rolling his wheelchair right through the flames. He says, do not fear, my X-Men. There is a way out. Well, how can Professor X move through the flames without catching himself on fire? What do you think? Do you think maybe there's something about these flames that aren't real? Iceman asks, how did you do it, sir? Professor X says, quite simple. I sensed your panic and came after you. There was really no fire, no boiling oil. It was but an illusion created by one of the mutants to keep you prisoner here. Angel says we were fools, deceived by a hypnotic trick of some sort. Professor X says, do not reproach yourselves. Remember, the evil mutants are as powerful as we, and they will stop at nothing to defeat us and to gain control of mankind. Angel says, now that you're here, sir, this is it. We'll finish Magneto and finish him off. But watching the X-Men from a peephole in the wall, a baleful eye gleams with naked hatred and frustration. It's Mastermind. He says, blast it. If not for their leader, they'd still be cringing helplessly in mute fear behind my masterful illusion. But we'll beat them yet. Come, Toad. We'll report to Magneto. Toad says, Magneto will know what to do. The great Magneto is more than a match for anyone. Mastermind says, Magneto, the X-Men are still at large. But Magneto says, silence. I know what has occurred. Stand aside. I'm preparing the ultimate trap for them. What's he going to do? He's got his hand on a lever. Magneto says, I'm wiring 2 bombs. One will be placed at this door to booby-trap it and destroy them when they enter. As for the other, that one will be a nuclear bomb capable of blowing up this entire nation. We will flee now. If the smaller bomb doesn't stop the X-Men, the large one will, taking all of Santo Marco. Quicksilver asks, but what about all of the innocent people that will be killed? Magneto says, have I not told you? They are merely Homo sapiens. They would kill us if they could. We only fight in self-defense. Meanwhile, not suspecting the terrible trap which awaits them, the fighting mad X-Men race up the ramp toward the tower chamber. Professor X says, we searched everywhere else. Magneto must be here in the tower. B says, there's a door up ahead. He's probably hiding behind it. But Professor X warns them. Cyclops says, Professor, what's wrong? Look out. You'll topple from the chair. Professor X says, stop. Stop, I say. Stay away from that door. I sense danger. It's a trap. Marvel Girl says, too late. The Beast is so anxious to crash through that he doesn't hear you. But Professor X leaps. Even though he can't use his legs, somehow he manages to push his body. Cyclops says, somebody stop the professor. He hurled himself from the chair. He'll be killed. Hank says, hey, what? Professor X says, I've no choice. I must protect my X-Men. And so he leaps ahead. Whoom! The bomb goes off and knocks Professor X and the Beast backward. Cyclops realizes they had the door booby-trapped, those rotten killers. He says, keep back. My power beam is operational again. I'm going to blast that door to ashes. Beast says, I'm okay, Bobby. But what about the professor? Marvel Girl says, he's still conscious, but he's delirious, and his eyes, they are so glazed. Meanwhile, on the other side of the door, as the power beam crashes through, Magneto says, Cyclops power beam. That means the first bomb failed. Run, I've activated the nuclear bomb. In 10 minutes, this will be a wasteland. Oh no! So they're sliding down an escape route. Mastermind says, Magneto leaves nothing to chance. This escape slide leads to the freighter and to safety on the open sea. Scarlet Witch thinks, I can't believe Magneto will let all those innocent people be harmed. I just can't believe it. Magneto jumps into the door to slide down. He says, follow me, Quicksilver. Every second counts. But Quicksilver says, no, there is one thing I must do first, no matter what the consequences. And so the speedster runs away. He zips through the corridors and finds the room with the bomb. Iceman says, look, another bomb set to go off. But Cyclops realizes Quicksilver just destroyed the fuse. He saved us. So Quicksilver, even though he's in the Brotherhood, he really is not that evil, is he? He defuses the bomb and then he speeds away. Cyclops says, "Wait, come back." Quicksilver says, "No, although I could not allow a nation to be destroyed, my place is still with the Brotherhood." He says, "You are the betrayers of Homo Superior. Expect no mercy next time we meet." Iceman says, "Let them go, Scott. The professor needs us now." Cyclops says, "Professor X, I almost forgot." Iceman asks, "How is he?" The Beast says, "His brain seems to be affected." Cyclops says, "His brain, but that's his greatest weapon." Marvel Girl says, "He's alive, but something terrible has happened." Professor X says, "Leave me. I'm no good to you anymore. The explosion deadened my mutant mental power. I can no longer read minds or throw my thoughts. Go after the evil ones. Forget me." But Cyclops says, "Forget you, sir? Never. We can't desert you when you need us the most." Angel looks out the window. "There goes the freighter. They'll be out of sight soon. They've gotten away." But they'll never be really free, for no matter where they go, as soon as they show themselves, the X-Men will attack. Well, in the last panel, the X-Men talk to each other. The Angel says, "If the professor never regains his power, we'll be on our own next time. But are we strong enough without him?" The Beast says, "He trained us. Now we must prove worthy of that training. We shall not fail him." And the editor closes us out, saying, "Leaderless, forced to fend for themselves, can the 5 mutant teenagers meet a renewed threat by the powerful evil mutants? Well, don't miss our next great issue." Well, I should say not. And here's the front cover of the next issue. It promises action, surprises, suspense, all in the magnificent Marvel manner. And look, it says the Angel is trapped. And we see the Angel in a locked room, but looking through a glass as the other X-Men fight against the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Magneto and his evil mutants, more dangerous than ever. They strike again. All right, and we'll be there, won't we? Because we want to see that happen. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this story and the introduction of a new powerful villain team, all right, to oppose the X-Men. All right, we'll read more about it later. In the meantime, love y'all. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.